So today I wanted to talk about uncertainty. But first I wanted to talk about desire. So there are two main roadblocks to happiness. I don't know where I heard this, but I thought it was quite interesting. The first is desire. So there's a quote: desire is a contract that you make with yourself to be unhappy until you get what you want. And it makes sense. If you desire something, then you're keeping your happiness hostage until that something is achieved. And when it comes to material desires, we often think that the car or the piece of clothing or the watch or whatever is going to make us happy, and often it doesn't. But here's the interesting thing: when it comes to material desires, it's probably easier to achieve it than it is to renounce it, because monks spend years of their lives trying to renounce all desires, and some of them don't even get to that point. And achieving the desire is often the fastest way to realise you won't want it, because it removes any uncertainty. You get it, and then you realise it's bad. It's the 2D versus 3D lessons again. It's like you can tell yourself, oh, I don't want this watch is not going to make me happy. But for a lot of people, until you actually get that watch, that's not something that you can realise. And that brings me on to uncertainty. So, as humans, we would rather imagine the worst case scenario actually happening than face an environment where we don't know what's going to happen. It's kind of sad, but evolutionary makes sense. It just makes a lot of sense, because uncertainty was often a life or death situation, whereas now it's waiting for someone to respond to a text message. And doesn't mean it's less pressing, because often it is, but that's not the point. It's that we never imagine what can happen if things go well. What if that text message doesn't go horrifically and now you're not hated by everyone? Because we often imagine the circumstances that other people hate us. And this is what bugs me as well, because it's, who is other people? Is it your second cousin, third removed? Is it your best friend? Fear often exists in the vague and not the specific. We say, oh, we're afraid of what other people will think, but we never actually specify what they will think, who they is, and what that stops us from doing. It's like Alex Hormozy has these great questions to ask afterwards. It's like, does it affect where you sleep? Does it affect what you eat? And if the answer is no, then why not do it? Because the potential upside with this kind of thing, especially if you're so worried about what other people might think, the upside is infinite. But because in our history the upside was mainly just temporary social approval or a large piece of meat, our ancient brain has not evolved to understand leverage, and that certain things can have such great results. It's why you hear authors and entrepreneurs say, oh, I never imagined what kind of success I would have. That's because humans have an inherent negativity bias. They're not going to imagine the possibility of success. We're always about trying to limit the downside rather than focusing on what's great about the opportunity we have. And one way I try to deal with that is I ask myself, what would I tell a friend? If a friend came up to me with the exact same situation, what would I tell them? Or what would I advise my kids to do if they had the exact same situation? And I feel like it just gets you out of your head. And even if you can come up with the greatest advice ever, it's still hard to act on, because that takes courage. And I remember reading something that said, courage is not defeated by fear, but by simulation. We create these Monte Carlo simulations in our head of 10,000 scenarios, of which none are positive. And often there's more possibility than you think.